YouTube people, today I am going to show you a very cool looking watch with a very cool sounding name, Boderry Voyager. Boderry has sent me this watch for free, I don't have to ship it back, so thank you Boderry for sponsoring this YouTube channel, I appreciate that a lot. This watch is made out of titanium, it has sapphire crystal, screw down crown, and it is rated up to 100 meters of water resistance, and it has very respectable NH35A movement, and it costs less than 100 euros. How is that even possible? So you might be thinking that this watch is gonna be finished very bad, it's gonna have very sharp edges, everything is gonna be misaligned, there is gonna be plenty of dust under the glass and so on and so on. But no, this watch is actually well made. Let me show you. I usually don't show boxes in my videos, but you just take a look at this. This watch comes in this container, it looks just so good. It's such a nice packaging. It opens up this way, and of course you're gonna find some papers inside and the watch itself. The packaging is just amazing. You told me in the comments that you want me to do measurements in my videos, so let's get it done. Thickness is around 12 millimeters. Rather big crown at almost 7 millimeters. Lug width is 22 millimeters. The diameter of this watch, if I measure like this, is around 40 millimeters. Lug to lug distance, if I measure like this, it's about 49.2 millimeters. But this is interesting measurement because those lugs are facing down, which effectively makes this watch feel a lot shorter on the wrist. And not only that, but it also has several, well, actually two different holes for spring bars. So let's measure the distance between the spring bars, because I think that's gonna give you a better picture of how long this watch feels like on the wrist. And spring bar to spring bar right now it is 46.5 millimeters. And if I place those spring bars in the higher holes, let's see if the distance changes. So spring bar to spring bar right now it's roughly 46 millimeters. And I do get a positive reading on sapphire crystal. And the naked case without spring bars weighs about 50 grams. Let's do the quality control test on this watch, and let's begin with this beautiful crown, which as you saw is 6.8 millimeters in diameter, so rather big crown, very nice. It doesn't have any sharp edges, it's a screw down crown, and threading feels nice. It catches the threading very nicely, screws in and out, no problem, it feels very good. And let me show you something very nice up close. Pay attention to those crown guards, how nicely they are finished. Every corner, every edge is nicely rounded up, and at this price point it's very unusual to see crown guards finished this nicely. It's amazing. And as you can see, this threading also has a rubber gasket. Beautiful crown as well, so no complaints there, it's actually very well done. Now another thing is the action of the crown. Here is no surprise, because this watch has an NH35A movement and they all feel great. It's a nicely dampened crown, very nice slow and precise feeling ratio, very nice. Now how is the alignment of hands? Let's set on 6. They sit straight and nice, alignment seems good. Now let's see how far from the midnight it is going to flip the date test. So 11 p.m, 11:30, 11:45. Let's go slowly. Well, it flips the date 11 minutes till midnight. A little bit far for my liking, but I still gonna give it a pass. Let's not forget this watch costs less than 100 euros, so I would say it's still within the respectable range. Now let's take a better look at the dial itself. Let's begin the second hand, and on the dial I don't see any dust particles. It's all clean, nicely finished. I don't see any imperfections. Print is nice. Well done, actually well done. And also, while we are looking up close, look, sapphire crystal is actually recessed below the bezel by about half of a millimeter, I would say, or probably the whole millimeter below the line of the bezel, which is nice because this bezel is gonna protect this sapphire crystal a little bit. Nice. Now the finishing of the case. This is some kind of a sandblasted finishing, which is nice to touch. It feels soft. You know, it's like this cloth that's meant to clean glasses. It has this very soft feeling. Interestingly enough, this case also has very similar soft feeling. It's nice thing to touch. And speaking about nice thing to touch, it doesn't have sharpness. This edge, nicely finished. It's not sharp. The only a little bit sharp edge I found is inside the lugs, but in comparison to some other watches, especially at this price point, I wouldn't call them sharp. It's actually fine. It's fine. And the very corners of the lugs, look, even on camera you can see they're nicely rounded up. The finishing on this case is surprisingly good, especially considering the price point. It's you know what? This is not only a nice thing to look at, but it's also a nice thing to touch. It's a well done watch, well done watch. Also the case back. Usually at this price point, engravings on the case back feel a little bit sharp, but not on this watch. It's very soft to touch, no sharpness whatsoever, and looks rather good. It's a rather cool looking engraving. So titanium crown, titanium case back for under 100 euros. This watch is ridiculous. It's actually very well made watch. Lume on this watch is not a long lasting lume. Let me turn off the light. For me to use this watch throughout the night, I have to charge it real good before going to sleep. Only then I can see the time well into the morning. What's good about this lume is that it is very responsive. It is quick to charge, and initial burst of light is actually pretty strong. So throughout the day, I notice this lume shining multiple times actually. Just, you know, sitting in front of a window like that, check the time, and oh, the lume is shining. So it gives off that happiness still, even though it's not a long lasting lume. The strap doesn't look cheap and doesn't feel cheap. Even the hardware, look, I am not sure, but it looks titanium as well, because it has exactly the same shine, the same tint, the same color as the case itself. There is absolutely no visual difference between those two metals, hardware on the strap and the metal of the case. Very nice. Also, the buckle has very nice engraving. The end of the strap has double stitching with heat treatment, so it's gonna last. Also, holes have nice heat treatment, and the inside of the strap here has plenty of relatively strong looking stitching, and even this edge, look, it's so nicely finished. No sharpness whatsoever. It's actually, you know, this strap feels more like a belt, some kind of a good quality belt rather than a watch strap. It's very robust. That's how it feels like and looks like. Also the fitment, 22mm lugs, but this strap feels like it is something like 22.3mm, something like that. There is no free play side to side whatsoever. Also, those double stitches on the end, look, you aren't gonna lose your watch like that very easily. I have to apply a little bit of force to actually pull this strap out of the case, out of the lugs. Like, it's not easy. It's actually well done. So looks good, feels strong, and I believe it is gonna last a long time. But I'm still going to show you some custom options, like this thick fabric strap, which I think looks great on this watch, and it also feels very comfortable. Also, as always, I'll put links in the description where I bought those straps from, if I can find those links still, of course. This one is very flexible silicone strap, originally meant for smart watches, but I think it looks and works very good with some sport watches like this one. Very good in water activities as well because of those holes. Next option, black leather strap with white stitches. I think it looks very good with this black dial with white numbers. It just matches visually very well. I think it looks cool. This is very cool option for this watch. This is thick silicone strap, but it has holes, it's very flexible, it's very soft, and also very good throughout hot summer days or in some kind of water activities, as it dries out rather quickly. And take the last look at the original strap. It looks great. It looks great. I'm just not a big fan of 22mm straps because on my relatively skinny wrist, 22mm straps tend to feel a little bit cumbersome sometimes. Final verdict for this watch is different. Let me tell you something. Not Boderry decided to send me this watch. It's not like somebody decided randomly to send me a watch for a review. Here is your watch, do a review. No. That's me who actually chose this watch. I actually wanted this watch. I wanted to do a review on this watch, and I wanted this watch for myself, to have it, to have some fun, to play around. And luckily Boderry agreed to send me this watch, so thank you, Boderry. And you know what? So I chose this watch, I wanted this watch, and I'm not disappointed. This watch is amazing. And let me remind you the price. Less than 100 euros for a titanium watch with very respectable NH35A movement. And it's not cheaply made. It has sapphire crystal, it has screw down crown, it has 100 meters of water resistance, and it doesn't have sharp edges. It's actually a well made watch. I'm actually very surprised. At this price point, it's unbeatable value for money. Unbeatable, ridiculous value for money. That's my opinion about this watch. It's just amazing. So thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.